This neural mirroring allows you to understand and emphasize with others by putting yourself in their shoes. For example, when you see someone yawn, mirror neurons in your brain might trigger a yawn in response. This ability to share emotions and experience plays a crucial role in social bonding and communication.
So our whole effort in the yogic system is how to keep it very equanimous and exuberant at the same time. The problem with most people is if they become equanimous, they become death-like. If they become exuberant, they keep flipping all the time. To be equanimous and exuberant means your sense organs and you can function in a certain way. You are vibrantly alive, but you're absolutely equanimous. If this one thing happens, suddenly your sensory perception will not be the limit for you. There are other dimensions of perception which will not come into one's experience unless there is a certain level of striving.
Richard Feynman, the physicist, said, science is like sex. Sometimes something useful comes out of it, but it's not why we're doing it.
What is the use of life? Let me ask you a question.
I would love to know. I've wondered that question. And I get it that science isn't getting me there. I mean, I've been in science my whole adult life, but I don't know. I get much more towards that question when I read literature, which was my first love before I went to science. So I take the point that science doesn't help me on that front at all. What would you say? I've wondered what the point is.
No, when we're looking at everything as… See, right now, this is an unfortunate reality which is… doesn't agree with my aesthetics of life. Right now, science has moved from an exploratory process to an exploitative process. If you see an atom, how to use it. If you see a bacteria, how to use it. If you see an elephant, how to use it. If you use a whale, how to use it. Of course, the next thing is if you see a human being, how to use them. This is where it's going. Everything, how to use it. This is not what life is about. You may get to know how to use every damn thing, but still, life won't get any better. If you know how to keep this one, life will get better, believe me. If you just know how to sit here blissed out, life will get better.
I see that point. Let me ask you, I'm curious what you think is reality out there, because I think you and I come from the same perspective that we're very limited in what we can actually see, and that an animal would see reality differently than you and I might see it differently also. If one of us has synesthesia, and so when we hear music, we see colors, things like that, then we might have very different realities. So what would it be like if you could get beyond the physical trappings?
See, language can go only thus far, whether it's science or literature. It can go only that far. When you speak any language, it must make logical sense. If it does not make logical sense, people are leaving right now. Yes, because language is deeply enslaved to the fundamental logic which is a product of our intellect. Without it, we could not speak. So now you're asking about something which is not going to be logically correct. So I am not willing to make a fool of myself here, talking about something that's not going to make sense to them right now. But we will talk about it in a different way. This happened. Adiyogi had a family, the first yogi. So, some disciple of his from South India carried a basket of mangoes. Have you tasted the Indian mango?
Yeah.
Indian mango?
I've been to India, yeah.
Okay. So it's during this season, right now, unfortunately I'm in America. This time of the year, mango is the only religion in the country. Everybody is head to toe mango, okay? So, mangoes drive us crazy. In southern India, we have over 200 varieties of mangoes. So, different days they want to eat different types of mangoes and they want to cook mango, everything is mango, okay? People have come up with facial creams, mango creams and everything. So somebody carried a basket of mangoes and came all the way to Himalayas to offer it to their guru. But by the time they came, the basket one by one, mangoes going bad, either they threw it away or they ate it up, something happened. By the time they came there, only one mango was left. One beautiful South Indian mango. I'm talking about it like you talk about brain. Believe me, it's sweet, not like the brain. So now Adiyogi has a wife and two children, two boys. Now one mango is not like an apple, you can't cut it into half and give it to two people. It can only be eaten like this, you know. If you cut it, it won't go equal anyway. So what to do? Both the boys came running, we want the mango. Each one wants the mango. So they didn't know what to do, then they said, what? They have to set up something, who gets the mango? They said, okay, let's have a little race, whoever wins the race gets the mango. Because these are Adiyogi's children, it's not a 100-meter dash. They said, whoever goes around the world 3 times first, they will get the mango. So the younger boy immediately set off, racing around the world, wanting to make 3 rounds, and he went away. The older boy was a little obese. He just sat there. He didn't move, the parents were surprised. Then they thought maybe he's given up on the mango. The young boy wants to get it, he's running, this boy has given up. But this boy sat there for some time, then he got up. He went around his father and mother 3 times and said, mango. They said, what, you didn't even run? What do you mean? The race is about going around the world. He's going around the world. I went around my world. You are my world. I've gone around, I deserve the mango. They couldn't argue with this logic, so they gave him the mango. He ate. Then the younger boy came and, you know, things happened. Fireworks. Fireworks happened, he became very furious, all those things are another story. But what I'm saying is, there is a subjective reality and there's an objective reality. When I say subjective reality, I'm not talking about just your thought and emotion. Like you were talking about, cognitive reality can be different. What is smell for somebody is taste for someone else. What is sweet for somebody is bitter for somebody else. What's light for one person is darkness for another creature. Here I see one creature right behind staring at me. So, this perception is… these 5 senses are tuned for our survival. If survival is what we are seeking, sense organs are fine. But once you're looking at life as an exploration, you want to know life, not just live life, you want to know. When you want to know, 5 senses are no good. They are not sufficient faculties to know. Right now, this brain, I'm not trying to downgrade it, it's a fantastic thing. This brain is nothing without the 5 senses. It is these 5 agencies which are gathering information and feeding up this brain all the time, both every moment of your wakefulness and sleep, this is happening. If you walk from here to there, if somebody is wearing a strong perfume or something else, you may notice it, otherwise generally you may not notice. But if you walk from here to there, your olfactory cognition is taking in probably 200 different smells if you walk from here to there. It is just that you have not paid enough attention to decipher that and your other faculties are overriding that. Suppose you did not have eyes, ears, nothing. If you shut them off for some time, you will see suddenly your nostrils become so very sensitive, you can just smell out how many people are there. If you bring your dog here, he almost knows how many people are here. He doesn't know just how humans smell. He knows individually distinct smell of each person that is here. We also have that because our neurological system is way more sophisticated than that of a dog, but there are other overriding factors which have diminished that. But if you wish, you can develop that to a certain level. So cognitive distinctions are there and cognitive confusion is there as you… what's that word about smell becomes a color and color becomes
Synesthesia.
something. Okay, whatever. No, it's anesthesia, synesthesia, something is lost, something is mixed up, like a drink. A man who is just out of the bar may feel that way, you know. Everything may become colorful or not colorful depending upon his mood on that day or what he had. So, these things are happening because you can impair these things or enhance these things with a little bit of chemical stimulation or injuries or diseases or… This is essentially a chemical soup. What kind of a soup is the question. So, our whole effort in the yogic system is how to keep it very equanimous and exuberant at the same time. The problem with most people is if they become equanimous, they become death-like. If they become exuberant, they keep flipping all the time. To be equanimous and exuberant means your sense organs and you can function in a certain way. You are vibrantly alive, but you're absolutely equanimous. If this one thing happens, suddenly your sensory perception will not be the limit for you. There are other dimensions of perception which will not come into one's experience unless there is a certain level of striving. For example, 200 years ago, I heard 97% of United States population was illiterate. Today, probably almost 100% literacy in the country. How does this happen? It's the infrastructure of schoolrooms and human infrastructure of teachers and many other things and books and whatever. If this infrastructure was not built, even today we would be in the same condition, isn't it? So similarly, for turning inward, there is no infrastructure. Few individuals may be doing it somewhere, but there is no large-scale infrastructure in the society as to look at life just as life, not as to how it is useful. Life need not be useful, it's a phenomena beyond our use. It is a phenomena to be experienced. We have come here to experience life, not to use life, isn't it so? Hello? We have come here to experience life, not about how to put this to use. This is not a work donkey.
I'm trying to understand this issue about knowing. So where we clearly have overlap in the way we go about it is wanting to know things, wanting to understand everything around us. But there's a sense in which we're not limited by our intellect because I have the opportunity to ride on the back of all the other humans on the planet and those that have come before me. It's a collective intellect that's now encoded on Wikipedia and in millions of books. And I have an opportunity to take experiences from across the world, places I've never been, ideas that I would have never thought of, and so on, and feed all that in. So it's a much richer diet, first of all.
A much richer data.
It's a diet of data. I mean, it's what shapes my next thoughts, is what I've taken in.
No, it is just that today we have access to much larger data than maybe 100 years ago, all right? But still, we've already looked at this, it's still a minuscule, isn't it?
I agree. Compared to the whole cosmos, still minuscule. But it's moving in the right direction. The unslakable thirst for knowledge that humans have means that there's this ratcheting up each generation. So it's not that it is of course the case that I'm limited in my thoughts to the impressions that I've had, but I have a much bigger fire hose of impressions now that can build on the scaffolding of the generations before me, the things they've already figured out, so that I can start at the next level and move up.
Start at the next level for what? Towards what end?
That's a good question. I mean, it's toward the end of knowing in the way that science cares about knowing. So putting aside usefulness of technology, just the way that scientists ask questions. Richard Feynman, the physicist, said, science is like sex. Sometimes something useful comes out of it, but it's not why we're doing it. So it's a way of knowing, and it's a collaborative way of knowing, where we link arms across space and across generations as well to try to get somewhere.
I'm in no way trying to disagree with that or in any way discredit that, it's a tremendous effort. But I'm saying, if knowing is the purpose, because wanting to know, how much time and energy somebody is willing to dedicate to that may be questionable from person to person, but everybody wants to know, there's no question about that. But knowing everything by intellect, we will know the surface of everything but never the real source of everything or the core of everything. Because the only the only doorway to our experience is this human mechanism. You don't know the world any other way than the way this one is projecting right now within itself, yes?
Agreed.
There is no other way. You don't know how that is, you only know the way it is happening within you, isn't it? I don't know how you are really, I only know the way your picture is right now projecting in my brain or my system and how I'm perceiving it. As you know, you have drilled holes into people's brains and impaired something and put electric current and whatever you've done. I'm not saying you as a person, I'm saying these things have been done. You'll definitely know by interfering with a certain physical process, the whole perception could change. The world has not changed, but perception has changed, so in his experience, everything has changed. So that dimension of life is only useful for survival. When I say survival, everything that we're doing is survival. To survive better, to enhance our survival to a better status or in an enhanced way of survival process. But once you've come as a human being, it doesn't matter how well you survive, still it is not good enough, isn't it? It's never going to be good enough because survival is not going to fulfill a human being. It doesn't matter how big our homes get, how big our cars get, how energy efficient it gets, how better we dress, how better we eat, still we will feel it's not enough because that's not the direction in which the life wants to go.
So here's the part I'm trying to understand, is this issue about knowing, this issue about seeking knowledge. Let's say, either in science or in mysticism, we depend on our senses for that, yes? Or are you saying that
I'm saying they're not dependable.
Agreed.
They're not dependable.
But isn't it all we have? Or you're saying there's this other
Yes.
aspect to the mind?
See, for example, suppose you or me were lost in the jungle as infants, okay? If something edible came, we definitely would take it and put it in the mouth. We wouldn't try our ears first, then nostrils, and then by accident discover the mouth. No, we just know how to eat, no question about that. So I'm saying everything concerned with our survival is inbuilt. It's there. This is millions of years of memory which is there within us, we know how to survive. But we wouldn't know how to read, we wouldn't know how to do so many other things which have become a part of our life. Do you remember when you were 2 or 3 years of age, when they tried to teach you that alphabet, the damn A, how complicated it was? It was so complicated just to get it right. You had to write 100 times to get it. Today with eyes closed you can do it. Because of a certain striving, isn't it? Similarly, anything beyond survival, if we have to have it in our lives, a certain striving is needed. As I said, striving for inward perception is something, unfortunately, that's been banished in modern societies because we are on the thrill of technology. It's a fantastic thing. But you will see as time progresses, as technology becomes better and better, human beings will become more and more frustrated. If you have not noticed this, just look out and see, you will see 8-year-old, 10-year-old kids bored. In your generation or my generation, we would have never seen, we never knew what is damn boredom is. When you were 8 or 10, you were just bubbling with life and on, but today you see 10-year-old kids are just bored with it because they've seen the damn cosmos through their phone screen. They know it all. So I'm saying all this excess may not lead to betterment of life, and it will not. Comfort and convenience will come. But well-being will not happen. The purpose of enhancing human experience on this planet will not happen. It will only entertain us intellectually big time, which it is, no question. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying it's limited.
Here are few scientific facts about our brain. Brain flexibility, neuroplasticity. Think of your brain like a garden that can constantly grow and change. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to recognize itself by forming new neural connections. This happens in response to learning new things, experiencing new situations, or recovering from injury. For example, if you injure your hand, the areas of your brain responsible for controlling that hand may recognize to help you regain function over time. Tidying up brain connections. Synaptic pruning. Just like pruning a tree helps it grow stronger, synaptic pruning in the brain helps refine its circuitry. During childhood and adolescence, the brain eliminates unnecessary connections between neurons while strengthening important ones. This process fine-tunes the brain's network, making it more efficient and better suited for processing information. It's like streamlining your computer's files to make it run faster and smoother. Daydreaming brain. Default mode network. Imagine your brain as a multitasking machine. When you're not actively engaged in a task, a network of brain regions called the default mode network (DMN) kicks in. This network becomes active during mind wandering, daydreaming, and self-reflection. It allows your brain to wander freely, replay past experiences, plan for the future, and even understand the thoughts and feelings of others. It's like the brain's private journal where you can explore your inner world. Empathy cells, mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are like the social chameleons of your brain. They fire not only when you perform an action but also when you observe someone else doing the same action. This neural mirroring allows you to understand and empathize with others by putting yourself in their shoes. For example, when you see someone yawn, mirror neurons in your brain might trigger a yawn in response. This ability to share emotions and experience plays a crucial role in social bonding and communication. Brain's electrical signals, brainwave patterns. Your brain is like an electrical powerhouse, constantly buzzing with activity. Electroencephalography (EEG) allows scientists to measure this electrical activity by placing electrodes on your scalp. Different states of consciousness, such as deep sleep, dreaming, meditation, or focused attention, produce distinct patterns of brainwave activity. These brainwaves provide valuable insights into your mental state, helping researchers understand how your brain functions and diagnose neurological conditions.